Pow! Out go the lights. I'll explain that right after this intro. Well, hey Motor Warriors, I originally shot this video and it turned out pretty good actually a number of days ago. It was in the upper 60s, it was a great day, and the sound didn't go through on this GoPro Hero 4. So I'm reshooting it today because it's finally not pouring rain, but it's in the, I don't know, lower 30s or something, and by the time I get home later tonight it ought to be like 23, I think they said it'll be, but I ride when I want to. But anyway, the other day Mr. and Mrs. McStache did a video about one of those like roadside attraction things, and they were showing a mural from what used to be some huge, world's largest toy manufacturer or something, all under like one big massive warehouse or something like that. And on the mural I remember seeing the Rock'em Sock'em robot. Now I don't know for sure, I think they still make them. They're probably like nowhere near as big, and they're probably, you know, cheap Chinese junk that one knock and it falls apart. But anyway, when they first came out when I was a kid, we used to play that all the time. Now my next oldest brother, you know, he'd play sometimes, but you know, if you laughed when you beat him, you know, he'd get mad and then wouldn't want to play for a while. My younger brother, who's a few years younger than me, we would play it all the time. And man, sometimes I'd knock his block off, as the saying for the game goes. I'd knock his block off and then he'd knock my block off, and back and forth, and we'd just laugh. We had a lot of fun. It didn't matter, you know, who won or how many times you won or whatever. And even my older brother that, you know, didn't take losing as well, you know, he didn't get all upset and scream and throw stuff around or blame me for cheating when I beat him. I mean, it was nothing like that. He just hated losing. Well, I guess, you know, everybody hates losing. It's just a matter of how you deal with it when you do. But I made some comment about it, and Mr. McStache replied about how, oh, you mean you didn't blame everybody else for, you know, your mistakes or your whatever. And that's like the way things were back then, at least for most of us. You know, if you did something wrong, you fessed up and it was on you. You didn't run around and blame everybody else. And you know, it brought to mind this guy that I used to go to school with. Bart Dixon came from this family where the mom used to run around on the dad. The dad was a drunk. Poor Bart got caught in the middle. You know, people that knew what his mom was up to, they'd tease him, and you know, and then he'd clean their clock, and you know, that means he'd like beat the fire out of them. But his dad used to come home and be mad about the mom, and he'd slap her around, knock her around, and then he'd turn to Bart and beat on Bart. So this poor kid, growing up all his life, he had a drunk dad that used to beat him all the time, and a real, I don't want to get banned, so let's just say his mom was Passer on Pam, okay? And if anybody had a reason to be angry, it was that poor guy. And he was angry, but he didn't blame anybody else for his actions. Now, I'll give you an example. One time there was a group of us walking down the hall in between classes, and Bart was part of that group. Well, he saw this big kid coming towards us on the other side of the hallway in school, and this kid that I'm talking about that was coming towards us, he was a big guy, and I mean like tall and heavy set. I mean, he was kind of heavy, but he was a real nice guy. I'd talked to him, you know, a few times here and there, and he seemed all right. I mean, you know, He wasn't giving anybody crap or anything. And Bart walked over to that side of the hallway, and when he got even with that kid, stopped. Well, when he stopped, the other kid stopped, and then everybody in the hallway stopped because they thought something's going to happen now. Bart looked at that kid. The kid didn't say anything. He didn't do anything. He didn't push Bart out of the way. He didn't punch Bart. He did nothing. He just stood there. And Bart looked at him and said, "I don't like you." Boom! It hit him with an uppercut that I thought was going to knock his jaw right off, man. It about tore him up. That kid hit the ground like a sack of moldy potatoes, man. I tell you. He just went down. Out went the lights. And he laid there just like out cold for a few seconds. And everybody's like freaking out. The girls were screaming and yelling for the teachers, and the principal was down at the end of the hall. He saw what happened. He came running. And Bart didn't run. Bart didn't do anything. He didn't argue. He just stood there. And when they got up, when the principal and the teachers got to him, and they said, "Bart, what did you do that for?" They expected some rational explanation, like he spit on me, he pushed me, he called me a name, something. But nothing happened. So he looked at him and said, "I just don't like that old boy. That ought to be good enough right there, ain't it?" And they were like, "No, Bart, that's not good enough. You just can't hit somebody because you don't like them." And he said, "Well, it's done." And he ended up getting suspended and all kinds of crap like that. But he didn't blame anybody. He could have said, "Well, hey, my dad beats me all the time. My mom's a naughty girl." And, I'm stuck in the middle. So, yeah, I got anger issues, leave me alone. No, he didn't. He just said I hit him because I didn't like him. That ought to be good enough. It's like, man, that's messed up. Well, he did another thing one time where, those manhole covers, if you've ever seen them, they're made out of like cast iron or whatever. They're really heavy, real heavy. And there's the kind that go like through the street to, for like rainwater and that kind of thing. Well, he ended up moving one of those away from the hole and saw this kid that was like a few years, junior to us in school. And he didn't like that guy's older brother. Bart didn't like his older brother, but didn't think he could take him. So instead, he went and grabbed his little brother, because he was all by himself, grabbed the younger kid, and grabbed him, kicked his legs up from underneath him over by that manhole where he pulled the cover off, and threw him down inside there, put the manhole cover, walked away, and said some bad words that I won't repeat. Well, next thing you know, there was a huge fight between that older brother. It was like a couple days later when everybody figured out what was going on. And the kid's older brother ran into Bart, and they both ended up getting suspended for a long time. And they both ended up, with a couple missing teeth. I mean, it was a brutal, ugly thing. But again, didn't blame anybody. He always fessed up to the things he did. Now, bring that up to more modern times, and I think I posted something about this on Instagram. It just really blows me away. But now, before I say this, I want you to understand, I used to have a business partner that was like a friend. We were actually kind of friends, and he's Muslim, and I'm Christian, and we got along fine. So if you hear this, don't think I'm saying all Muslims are bad and murderers and all that. I'm not saying that, so don't read that into this. But anyway, this guy, his family, he was, I think, 21, if I remember, a young guy. I'll try and post the thing up on the video here. But he came with his family when he was younger from Syria. His parents wanted a better shot at life for their children. So they came to the States and whatever, and, the problem is that this Alili Amami, or I can't remember his name. And I'm not trying to be insulting. I just can't remember it. But this guy, he started, getting on websites and communicating back and forth with people associated with ISIS and the Taliban and all that. Next thing you know, this guy is full of anger and hate. Death to America type of guy. And he went into a grocery store, I believe it was, and killed 10 people. Just not 10 people he knew, Not 10 people he didn't like. It was just 10 random innocent people shopping at the store. Killed 10 of them. And then when they caught him and asked him what that was all about, he said that he didn't feel like he was respected as a Muslim in America, and that his girlfriend had broken up with him. Holy cow, are you serious? You didn't feel welcome as a Muslim, yet I know lots and lots of Muslims that love America and fit right in. But you think that you didn't feel welcome here. Did you ever think that maybe it was the terrorist ties that you had? Maybe the things you were saying to people really made people angry and they didn't like you because you were being a dipstick? I mean, come on. And then you blame your girlfriend because she broke up with you? Raise your hand if you've ever had a girlfriend break up with you. Or if you're a woman and you're watching this, if you've ever had a boyfriend break up with you. Did you run around and kill 10 people? Let's blame everybody else, man. And no, we played Rock'em Sock'em Robot and never ran around punching people because of it. And I doubt if Bart ever had any toys. But we played it a lot and never hit anybody. But anyway, so, you know, that's the way the world is today. You know, you run around and do something bad or kill people and then you blame the game. Oh, wait, no. You ate a Twinkie. That was it. Remember to live your life with the heart of a Viking warrior. Bye for now.